What's going on, world? It's your boy. Oh, no. Let's start over. What's going on, YouTube? It's your main man, Joe Arthur. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. Huh? What's going on, y'all, man? Long time no see. I just want to make this quick video, man. Like y'all know, man, I don't make a video just to make a video like some people. I make a video when I have something to say, so you may not see a video from me every day, because I'm not trying to, just push videos. But I saw this video, man. I guess the voting campaign is pretty much over. I think I don't even pay attention to it much these days. Excuse me. Pretty much all the same to me. But I think the Democrats have control of the House, from what I understand. So Trump was asked questions at the press conference, right? And just something happened, man. It just reminds me of what I talk about. Uh, it was this black female reporter, man, in the audience, man, asking him questions, right? And he answered her question, and guess what she did, right? Kept on talking, man. Tried to bully the president at his own Q&A conference, right? Talking about, I think she asked him something. I think she was a black female reporter. I think she was a representative of CNN, and you know how Trump talks about how CNN is fake news, right? And so she asked him something. I think he said something about it was a racist question, and she tried to out-talk him. And he was like, "Sit down, please, sit down." You know what I mean? Because you got to understand too. He's the president. You know what I'm saying? He may be white, he may be racist. He's not the first racist white president, but he's the president. So, in retrospect, you ask him a question. If you're a reporter asking the president questions, then you are only speaking to him, and you only need to get a response from him. However, if he's the president, or you could say if he's the mayor, or he's the governor, he's the mayor, or he's city council, he has a number of people in the audience to address. He has to address individual press members from other news networks. However, she black female reporter, she ain't give a shit. She answered he answered her question, and she just kept on talking, man. He had to tell her to sit down. Then he said, "Yeah, CNN has a very rude and disrespectful, or they have very rude and disrespectful press members." I thought at one point he was gonna have to get somebody to remove her, right? So, my point is, I'm not saying Trump is not, racist or whatever. Like I said, I mean, he has said racist shit towards blacks, towards Mexicans. Seems like to me he's racist towards pretty much every race. You know what I'm saying? But he's outward with it. In some ways, I dislike a direct racist just as much as I dislike a racist who hides his or her racism. But at least his racism is more tolerable because you can see it. You can't, it's more visceral. You can't pretend that it doesn't exist when he speaks. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So in reality, and they got the whole Kanye West thing, and I see, what he's trying to do in terms of, I guess, bring more blacks to the Republican side of the fence. I mean, Democrats have failed blacks, I believe, throughout the years. I mean, even under Obama, Chicago got worse under Obama. And I think before he was like a senator of Illinois or something like that. So it's like, how could not just Chicago, but Detroit and all these other cities become worse under the supervision of the black president. I'm not saying one person could save the whole entire planet. Some people you can't save. Some communities you're not gonna be able to save. But at the same time, I didn't see a real benefit to having a black president. So and then of course in his second go round, his second term, he said he wasn't a president for black people, even though he tried to push that agenda in his first campaign. But not to get off track, man. But yeah, the black female tried to bully the president, man. He had to tell her to sit down, and it just reminds me of the way black women try. Just like I saved the video of this comic, man. He was at his show, and a black female. You got people who will heckle the comic, and they'll say one or two things. I mean, Richard Pryor had a show where, he was being heckled, but she went hard, man. She kept heckling, and then it ended up. I think she was a bull dagger diesel dyke. She was a bull dagger diesel dyke. Uh, in the audience, and I guess certain things he said embarrassed her. So I think it was a comic from Baltimore, but she tried to stand up and go toe to toe with dude, man. And you ain't gonna win against no professional comic, right? And he has a mic. She didn't even have a mic, and she kept trying to talk back. And he kept making jokes and had the whole crowd laughing at her. She still wouldn't stop. Had the whole crowd laughing at her for like 5 minutes, and she still wouldn't stop. I saw a white comic getting heckled by a black female who just wouldn't stop. The average heckler may say one or two words. When the comic comes back, you just, okay, it's done. But she took it personal, kept going back and forth. Of course, she wasn't going to win that, but my point is like a lot of these black females do not have an off button. There's no fucking off button. And what you see at these comic shows and these press conferences, like, it doesn't matter what level of life they're in. Like, it seems like this bad attitude for black women spreads across, how should I put it? It spreads across class lines. Meaning, the majority of black women who are like this are poor black women, impoverished, and that's what most of us think. But you could see this bad attitude in black middle class females, black rich females, like the CNN reporter, ones who probably do fairly well, making six figures. Of course, this attitude is in bull dagger diesel dykes, like I talked about before. So it's a goddamn shame, man. It's across class lines. The same bully. Black boys are bullied by their single. I mean, because the worst thing you could do to a young boy is have him be raised by a bitter black woman in her 20s and 30s when they're just at the height of their feeling sorry for themselves, plateau, and it's a horrible thing because the young black boy doesn't have a chance. He's going to undergo such psychological trauma before he even reaches his teenage years. I mean, it's just gonna be a goddamn shame, and that's why a lot of these cats, they wonder why a lot of these young boys are going to prison in juvenile facilities at such a young age. The psychological damage is what's getting them first, because to leave a young boy alone with a bitter, young, scarred, angry black woman is a horrible thing. I mean, a woman of any color, but like I said, it's the angriness gets worse. The poorer you are, and black women tend to be the poorest out of all the other racial groups of women, particularly in the United States and probably across the globe. So when you leave a young black boy in the hands of a bitter black woman who blames everyone else for her faults, or blames everyone else for why she's lost or why she's losing in life, that young boy has to carry around that trauma and that damage, and of course that bitterness she projects onto that child, and that young boy will not be able to compete against. Not only he can't go to school and compete academically against his peers, he definitely won't be able to compete against other races of children across his his city, his state, country, the world. I mean, it's gonna be it'll be a rough ride for him or her. But and what you're starting to have these Frankensteins, which are some of these young boys who are being raised by these bitter black females. They're starting to turn on their master, meaning some of these black females are starting to be attacked by their children. It used to be that hate they projected onto the kid. The kid took it out to the street and hurt other kids like himself. Like you got the gang bangers and the street hustlers, right? But now you're starting to see this anger come back at the monster which created it. And I'm not going to try to pretend that white supremacy doesn't exist. It does. It always will until our people find a way to pull together and beat that level of the game. Because we're only going to beat that by coming together. If we continue to be stubborn, then we're not going to beat that level. It's just like the winter. The winter time, in the winter it's going to be cold. But it doesn't mean that we have to die off. How do we survive the winter? We prepare for it. We have a home. We have heat, right? And we can prosper during the winter if we prepare for it. Same thing with racism. Our people can prosper during racism if we pull together and prepare for it. But a lot of us have that psychological damage, but regardless of what caused it, it's going to be up to us to fix it. But if we continue to blame and project, focus on what caused it and not how we're going to heal it, then we're not going to be able to beat it and thrive throughout it. So if we don't beat that level of the game, if we don't beat racism, of course it's going to still exist. Life is like a chess game. All the pieces have to have a strategy in order to take the king from the other team. You got to conquer the king. You have to conquer the king that's on the opposing side of the board in order to win. And a lot of our people don't understand that. I didn't for a long time. But right now we don't even know how to put our pieces on the board properly yet. We don't even have enough pieces to put on the board to even play the game. Because where's the dad? So, but yeah, that's my point, man. I didn't mean to get on to get into a long drawn out lecture or anything like that. But it is it's on my Facebook page. I might put my Facebook page link in the description box. But yeah, man, you can see how the CNN black reporter would not stop talking. He had to ask her. He had to literally ask her to sit down and to not disrupt the Q&A conference or not to disrupt the Q&A session after he spoke. I mean, and you still have to be respectful because even when Obama was president, you had some whites that still had to pretend to be respectful, especially when all eyes are on the country or whatnot, how to conduct yourself. But yeah, man, I just want to make this brief video, man. I didn't want to go too deep into it. But be sure to like, subscribe. I see people still liking and subscribing the past videos I've done. I appreciate the love on that. Please leave your suggestions. Let me know what you think. And until next time, man, you guys take care.